As another E3 comes and goes, it's time for a discussion video. I know that there's still the show floor days, but they don't announce anything during those.
Unless something really weird happens, where they suddenly decide to do that. If so, nothing is sacred.
Yeah. I'm just gonna turn you up to 100%, and
Fuck yeah. I'm gonna give this my 100%.
So let's go in chronological order, starting with EA, who was surprisingly good.
Competent. Yeah.
Of course, they started with football.
Yeah, there was a lot of sports that I didn't care for, but
Yeah, that's expected.
yeah, like it would happen anyways, and there are people who are interested in it. So,
Like, I have a friend who's super hardcore into RPGs, and also 2K's basketball series, so
yeah,
there's a market.
Yeah.
Then they did a neat little Battlefield 1 community highlight. They're adding in nighttime maps, and there's a DLC that seems to be based on the Bolshevik Revolution.
Or at least includes like the Russians into the whole World War I part, but yeah.
The title they kept mentioning the word revolution, so that's what's making me think Bolshevik. Plus, that happened technically during World War One. Like, it was towards the end, but it was still during World War One, so it fits.
Right.
Then they did a Madden community highlight.
I kind of wish that they just like group all the sport ball together to get that out of the way.
Yeah. They ruined the Clash for me by putting them over the FIFA 18 trailer. Oh yeah, but Madden 18 has a story mode, which is weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
I mean, sports games in general have been doing weird story mode things lately, apparently, so...
I mean, I guess they finally realized that they can't get away with just putting out the same game over and over and over, except with an updated roster and realistic crowd AI or whatever the fuck they're touting now. So,
then there was Need for Speed Payback, which you got me interested in a racing game by making it open world. Good job.
and it has like a female protagonist.
One of 3 protagonists, so it's basically the driving portions of GTA 5.
Yeah. Which, it's driving portions, if it's on an engine that's optimized just for racing and shit, then fuck yeah.
And then there was A Way Out, which at first I thought was basically an HD version of Hard Time.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that.
We have once again been denied the return of Chef Vortivask.
Damn, we can't even use the Undertale mod on it anymore.
It's from the developer of Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, which was pretty well received.
Yeah, I never played it myself, but I heard really good things about it. Like, I'm pretty sure it's TV's #1 game of the year it came out.
And it actually looks really interesting. It's like a co-op jailbreak campaign.
Right, and it's like a lot of different options, exploring the characters' personalities. It's couch co-op, or I think it's also online co-op, but it still does split screen.
Yeah, that's kind of a thing. Like in Brothers, both characters were always on screen at the same time. Like, you couldn't actually go too far from each other. And then they technically announced Anthem without showing anything. We'll talk about that with Microsoft, which is BioWare's new IP. It seemed to be some sort of futuristic post-apoc with dinosaurs. Dinosaurs.
I'm noticing a theme with each day of E3. There's been a lot of dinosaurs. Did you realize that?
No, only when I just said it.
I said it.
No, I mean, because I said dinosaurs. Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
NBA Live 18, which I don't care about, and then they had 30 minutes of Battlefront 2.
God. I mean, it. Again, I'm not into Star Wars yet. Sean's gonna try to make me marathon the entire series when he visits, which I'm like, dude, you're only gonna be here for like 5 days, so chill.
I mean, it's the number of movies is in the single digits, so it's not like he's trying to make you marathon the Elm Street series.
I mean, good, but
Like, if you do 2 a day, then you'll watch the whole series.
yeah, fair enough. But the game looks nice. They said that there's a lot more content for it. I think it said like 3 times as much as
Yeah. And all the future DLC is apparently going to be free.
Which, bold move on their end.
I mean, I think they're just looking at popular FPS like Team Fortress, Overwatch, and going, okay, we can't keep charging for class-based shooters updates. There is a campaign between episodes 6 and 7, and they have missions for all 3 eras in multiplayer, so prequel, original trilogy, new trilogy.
Which is good. Like, they say that you can play as a lot of the
Different
characters.
factions, heroes, like, they changed it so it's not like you have to pick up tokens to get vehicles or droids or anything. You just rack up currency as you, like, per match currency as you play the game, and can spawn in as a hero character or droids or a vehicle. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. Plus,
Yeah,
it's going to be worth the money buying it full price because it's going to get free updates.
Yeah, honestly. Again, like, I'm not too into it, but if I did get into it, I'd probably just... Never mind, I'm realizing that's a stupid sentence. So...
Were you going to say if you were into it, you would be into it?
I said I'd buy it later if I got into it. And I'm like, of course I'll get it later if I get into it. Why would I get it immediately if I'm not into it?
I used to be with it. Anyway, so Microsoft had the Xbox One X, so they've got a sponsorship deal with 3 Days Grace.
Yep. They finally have the Xbox.
Yeah, in case it's not clear. I hate Microsoft sometimes.
Were they fucking planning it? Were they planning that?
But it's basically their version of the PS4 Pro. I got hung up on the fact that he was bragging about it having 12 gigs of RAM when a typical gaming PC has 16 at minimum.
Yeah.
Like, also, teraflops, teraflops, teraflops. It sounded like a PR guy trying to sell something he heard the engineers talking about when he took them to lunch. That's my takeaway.
They were just using that word a lot, so I figured it was important.
Forza Motorsport 7 and a brand new car. Apparently Porsche has had a line called 911 forever.
Why?
Which... I mean, I'm... like... Don't lynch me for this, but I am not a car person, but I assume Porsche is not an American company. Because,
probably.
like, most of the high-end vehicle companies are not American. Like, Mercedes-Benz is German, I want to say.
Yeah, they're German.
So, when you realize that, it makes a little more sense that they wouldn't even think to change it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Metro Exodus, for some reason the surface is livable without a mask, which I thought was a huge no-no in the Metro series.
They got better.
I haven't...
Yeah, they got better.
I haven't played the Metro series, much to Sean's chagrin. I tried, but the first surface section in 2033 basically scared me away.
Right.
But apparently it's going to be, quote, open-ish world.
It's going to be a continent-spanning journey, I'm pretty sure, they said.
I'm just going with the way PC Games End described it.
Alright, fair enough.
Because I was also looking at highlights on Twitter, because the press guys are going to get a little more detail than that. Assassin's Creed Origins, in which you too can be Yondu.
Yeah.
Holy crap, I have not been actively looking forward to an Assassin's Creed game since Black Flag.
That does look really good.
Like, it kind of feels like they looked at, Shadow of War, which is compared to Assassin's Creed a lot, is doing RPG stuff. We should probably do RPG stuff. The series was kind of leaning into the RPG direction, though, with Syndicate's leveling and equipment system, but they're going, like, all-out number crunching with this one, which is neat.
Yeah.
And
I'm pretty sure there's, like, weapons with, degradation or whatever on them. I think I saw something like that.
Oh, Sean's gonna hate that. Johnny Chiodini over at Eurogamer pointed out that the whole UI and equipment system reminded him a lot of The Witcher 3. Which, if they make Assassin's Creed Witcher-like, that's actually really freaking awesome.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
I noticed that a lot of open worlds are ditching mini-maps, but we'll get to that.
And a lot of open worlds, in general.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is getting a port, which I'm sure is going to be as finished as all of his other projects.
Yeah.
Some space mining game I missed the title of, which, honestly, I thought it was a completely different low-poly space game that I saw Northern Lion and friends play.
Oh, that one? Yeah.
Like, they were both really low-poly, though this one less so than the one they were playing. State of Decay 2, which I'm excited for.
I remember watching a playthrough of the first one by Michael of Achievement Hunter, and it was really good.
Yeah, like, it wasn't perfect because it was kind of an indie game, but it was really, really good. Like, for those who've played the Rebuild series, think that, but you go on the missions. Then there's the Darwin Project, which is a very arcadey-looking battle royale kind of game. Like, power-ups and magic abilities arcadey. The trailer, like, the way they did it was wonderful, though. Like, they made it out to look like some serious thing, and then they got, like, someone resembling an esports commentator yelling about it.
Which I wasn't a big fan of that, because it seemed kind of like, that's cheesy.
I enjoy cheesiness at these conferences, so...
Fair enough.
Like, I actually enjoyed Aisha Tyler's Ubisoft presentations because she was clearly having fun with it.
Yep.
Microsoft mismanaging Minecraft. Like, the people who would be watching E3 wouldn't care about Microsoft's official updates to Minecraft because...
Mods.
Yeah. People barely... Like, YouTubers still play the vanilla game, and kids still play the vanilla game, but I feel like a lot of the non-child fan base has moved on completely to modded games.
Oh, dude, even a lot of kids play modded Minecraft. It's just become so accessible to a lot of people now that...
Yeah, I think we can largely thank the Feed the Beast and Technic teams for that.
Oh yeah.
Like,
No, that's
popularizing mod packs. Now, if only they would do that for Skyrim and Fallout.
We'll get to that.
No, I wasn't even talking about that.
Oh.
I meant mod packs.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which I thought was already announced, though that might have been a leak. ArcSys making a Dragon Ball Z fighter that isn't on the 3DS.
Hmm.
So it's actually going to have a full budget, which, for people who like fighting games and Dragon Ball, cool.
Yeah. Like, I know a few people who are going to be excited for it.
Tyler was ecstatic.
I could guess.
Like, he loves ArcSys games and Dragon Ball games, so. Black Desert Online is getting an Xbox One port. That is not what I expected at all. Pearl Abyss is just pushing to expand their player base, and I kind of like it, because it just came out on Steam finally. For those who don't know, it's think a Korean, like, Ragnarok-ish MMO, but make it, like, modern 3D.
Yeah.
So it's extremely grindy, but oh my god, is it freaking beautiful. And combat is really fun. The Last Night, which I was excited for just from the art style, but let's just kind of pass over that one.
Yeah.
The Artful Escape, which we saw nothing but surreality from, so I'm intrigued but confused. Code Vein, which is a Bamco vampire-themed action RPG, I guess. People were joking about it looking Souls-like because apparently every action RPG with dodge rolling is Souls now.
It's the Dark Souls of dodging.
But honestly, they didn't even show a developer, so I'm not even... Like, it could actually be a FromSoft game, but I kind of doubt it because it was super anime looking. Like, no, the characters looked super anime, but then the armor looked super Western.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, it actually intrigued me. Like, I like weird art style mixes, as you can probably tell.
Oh, yeah.
They showed Sea of Thieves, so we know it's not going to be a super deep game now, which is good that they weren't really pretending it was.
Yeah.
It looks like a really fun co-op game, though. Even though Rare's, like, current Rare's reputation is kind of marked by Nuts and Bolts, which I think is an okay game, at least. It looks fun, and I really liked the snarky commentary they had over
The snarky commentator was fucking great. Like, he got me excited for the game, even though I'm not looking, like, the thing about that game is that, I don't know, Pirates seems like a very niche genre to get right.
Well, it seems like they're doing, like, very cartoony fantasy pirates, as opposed to the more realistic stuff that we'll be getting to with Ubisoft.
Right, but at the same time, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it's going to be that much of a... It feels like it might just be like a... I don't know. It doesn't feel like gameplay's going to be all that in-depth and interesting.
I don't think it's really meant to be super in-depth. I think it's more meant to be like a fun co-op game, but...
Yeah, fair enough.
We'll see. Tacoma, which I don't even remember.
Yeah, me neither.
I just put the name down.
I think
Super.
you asked what the name was.
Huh?
Oh, I think you might have been away for that or something, because I remember it. I just don't remember what it was.
Right.
Which, I'm going to address this problem once we're done with Microsoft.
Super Lucky's Tale. Holy crap, that looks adorable.
Wasn't that on VR?
It's a sequel to that, I think.
Ah, alright.
Like, it, like, looking at it just made me think of Klonoa. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I've never played Klonoa, and I even got that vibe.
Also, Lucky kind of sounded like a mix of Tails and Klonoa, so...
True.
Although, apparently that's going to be a full $60 game, so I guess I'll wait to see if there's enough content to justify that.
Yeah. It's 60.
Cuphead finally has a release date.
They've been teasing that game for like 3 fucking years now.
I find it funny how we have Cuphead, which is kind of a celebration of that kind of art style of cartoon, and then there's Bendy.
Yeah.
Which is, let's ruin this.
Boy, isn't this whimsical and fun? Let's fuck it up.
Speaking of things that have been teased for years, oh my god, Crackdown 3 finally has a release date.
It was weird how they got was it Tyler Cruz? I forget the guy's name. Doomfist. They got Doomfist there. And he's going fucking insane with the goddamn...
So, let me put it this way. Crackdown is Vigilante Saints Row before Saints Row.
I can't wait to buy the Old Spice game.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like, it is super over-the-top, ridiculous action. You're just this super soldier going after, like, cartel leaders and stuff. It is ridiculous and wonderful, and holy crap, I have been waiting since the 1 came out for this freaking game. I'm pretty sure they teased it when the console came out.
Ooh, that's been a while.
And from an up of the show to the low point of the show.
Boy, let me just, crack open a cold one.
Where did that even... You know what? That's for another discussion. Fable fucking Fortunes.
I mean, I don't have... I'm gonna start with this because you're gonna go on about it. I don't have a problem with it. In my eyes, it's ultimately harmless. But, I mean, this is probably going to be the last Fable content we ever see. Unless there's a miracle, because Fable 3 didn't do that well. The company that made it, Lion's Head? Yeah, Lion's Head is gone. So, they're probably not going to see more Fable content for a while, and it's kind of weird that the last thing we get is cards. I don't have a full problem with it, it just kind of feels like...
So, here's how I feel about it. They dissolve Lionhead, cancel Fable Legends, which was actually kind of interesting looking, and because the fans were upset, they give us a soulless Hearthstone ripoff.
Which, if I wanted to play a soulless Hearthstone ripoff, I would have played
Hearthstone.
Or whatever the fucking Elder Scrolls one is.
Elder Scrolls Legends. That one at least tries to do something mechanically different with the lanes.
Yeah.
So it is a huge, feels like a huge slap in the face from Microsoft.
Yeah. I can see that.
I love the Fable series. I love the whole trilogy. People don't like 3. I love 3. I love 2. I love 1.
I love 2. 3 I've played through the most, because you don't really need to devote that much time to it. And Fable 1, I never got into it.
Like, Fable 1, you have to go in remembering, okay, this is an Xbox classic game.
I even got the fucking. I think I still have it. I think I still have the remastered version on.
The remastered version was why we didn't do remasters last generation for the most part.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Fable Fortunes pisses me off. More than it probably should.
Where did the game touch you, Ken?
My soul. Wash your soul.
Hard to touch.
Oh wait, no, that's Sony. We'll get to that eventually.
Hey,
Ashen, which I
forget what this game even was.
think it's... Yeah, I forget, but I know that they were talking about it on the pre-show at some point. I remember it having an interesting art style. A lot of the new games for the One have really interesting art styles.
Yeah.
Life is Strange 0, I guess. There's going to be an episode where you play as Max with the limited edition, but it's going to be Chloe, I think.
Yeah, it's Chloe and Rachel. Which, I haven't played the game yet. I do have the entire first season, I guess. Thanks to PS Plus. But I'll get around to that eventually.
I've played the first episode and I love it.
Okay.
I also, again, going back to art styles, I really like the art style because, like, the environments feel kind of like watercolor paintings, kind of.
Yeah, the trailer did make it, like, I was wondering what was up with the graphics, but now I get that that's, like, the whole style they have going for.
Yeah.
Which, now that I know it's, their style and not just, we're settling with what we can get, like,
Yeah, like, the team also made Remember Me a few years ago. The ironically overlooked beat 'em up. I forget what the concept was. I think it was about, like, storing your memory. I haven't gotten around to that one yet.
You didn't remember it.
Psst.
Original jokes. Yay.
We got some more Shadow of War footage, meeting the orc that's going to be with us through the whole game, presumably, like in the first one.
And then probably going to die at the end, because that seems like something that would happen.
I think they specifically kept it so that he wouldn't get into the altercations that the other orc warlords would get into, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to it because, like Origins, it's going for more of the RPG elements.
Yeah.
And the first one was freaking awesome.
I've yet to play it.
It's another one of WB's, okay, let's make Arkham with a twist games. Like Mad Max.
Yeah.
Ori 2, which is surprising.
I'm surprised and excited.
I've heard really good things about the first one. I've played a little bit.
I've only gotten a quarter through. Like, I beat the first big dungeon, I guess. And I really enjoy it. It's full of life, very colorful. The music is great. Controls really well. Like, goddamn, it's a good game.
Like, I love Metroidvanias, so I need to give it a proper playthrough. The one is getting Xbox original backwards compatibility.
Which is fucking insane.
Like, I feel like they're trying to make the One the definitive console, or at least the One X.
Right.
I should mention, the One X is just their PS4 Pro. It runs games nicer looking and loads faster and stuff, but it's not going to be like the new 3DS where there are like 2 exclusive games.
Hey, now you're a rock star. No. I know Fire Emblem Warriors and Xenoblade 1 were exclusives to the new 3DS. Were there any others?
People would argue that Hyrule Warriors Legends was basically a new 3DS exclusive.
Yeah, which, get fucked if you don't have one. But
I have the Wii U game. I don't need the 3DS one. Plus, 3DS seems really awkward for Musou games.
it really isn't. I do have Legends on the 3DS. New 3DS, if I actually play it. But, go on.
So, Anthem. BioWare's new game, and seeming to be their answer to Destiny.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I like the movement. How you can basically, free fly anywhere and leap out the water.
Open world. It has drop-in co-op. It reminded me of a mix of Andromeda and Destiny.
Yeah.
But they also assured people that, yes, there is a single-player... there's a main story campaign that's as good as you would expect from us.
Okay.
It's not, Destiny.
Right.
Okay, we kind of crap on Destiny a lot, but I think it's an okay-ish game. 2 is going to be a lot better because they'll have learned from their mistakes.
Yeah, 1 was shit on launch. I hear it's a lot better now.
Yeah, but the problem is, I only have the PS3 version, and it's the core version. So,
Right.
I have, the worst version of the game.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like shelling out $60 for a game that's about to get its sequel on PC.
Yeah.
Well,
Published by... Well, not... Is it published? Blizzard is hosting it, I guess.
Yeah, Blizzard is hosting the PC version, and it's going to be on Battle.net. Which technically means, for you WoW junkies out there, you can get it for, quote, free if you just grind out 4 WoW tokens. Good luck with that, considering you would also need to do your subscription upkeep, but hey. I do find it interesting that they've expanded that microtransaction. It used to just be, oh, yeah, these are worth 30 days game time. It's a way for the people who don't have much time to play to catch up by buying these and selling them.
Yeah.
Basically bonds and RuneScape.
I remember that.
But then they expanded it into, okay, you can also redeem these for Battle.net credit. So by grinding your ass off in WoW, you can get Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Or loot boxes in Overwatch, because I'm sure grinding in WoW is so much more interesting than grinding in Overwatch.
Right.
Alright, on to Bethesda.
Now, I want to cover something with Microsoft real quick.
What?
What?
Oh, when the guy came out, because it wasn't Todd Howard, it was I forget his last name.
Hines?
Yeah. The people were chanting P.
Something with Microsoft I want to go over before we do Bethesda. I like that they showcased a lot of games. I just don't remember any of them. I remember the ones that they devoted longer trailers to, but otherwise, I can't remember most of those games. That thing went on for an hour and a half, and it was just trailer after trailer after trailer after trailer.
They basically learned from Sony last year.
Right. But, I don't know. I just have a problem with that, because it's you basically gave me if I showed up to a movie an hour early, you basically gave me previews for that entire time, and then after the movie, you're like, so, hey, which preview did you like the most? I'm like, I don't know, there are way too many. I feel like they should have limited the amount that they used, while still having a large amount. You know what I mean? 44 or whatever just seems like way too much, and I barely remember the content of any of those.
Honestly, the main reason I can remember them is I wrote down the names.
Yeah. And even then, we don't remember like what
But like,
Tacoma was.
I think the idea was like, okay, we can throw these out there, and different games will stick for different people.
Fair enough, I guess. I
Like,
just
not like, no, every game isn't for everyone.
right. Someone will hold on to this one if it is out there.
Oh, did you wind up watching the Devolver one yet?
No, I did not, but that's fine. I heard
No.
it was a clusterfuck.
It was, and it was glorious. You need to watch it after this because it was actually amazing.
Oh god.
It's what you would expect from the people who published Serious Sam. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I kind of knew.
Hype! Alright, Bethesda. The Pete Chant, Doom VFR, Fallout 4 VR, both of which are on PlayStation VR.
Something I have a problem with. Nobody is commenting, like, you know how Doom VFR is going to work, where, you know, you have your gun in one hand or whatever, both hands, and you can teleport to move with, like, the other stick or whatever. Which kind of works for Doom, even though it's a lot more fast-paced game, it does slow it down during that point. I just don't know how it's going to work for Fallout. And nobody seems to be going into that.
Honestly, I'm not sure. Like, I haven't actually done any of the VR stuff, unfortunately. Like, I felt really bad when I noticed we had one, or, well, when they brought it home, because I was like, oh, there's no software I'm interested in for this.
Yeah.
But, like, this is going... I'm interested because, oh, I guess it's fine to lump this in. Like, Skyrim VR is something I'm actually interested in. Like,
Good. Now you can buy that version of Skyrim.
I mean, I've only
They've
bought...
released Skyrim 5 fucking times now.
They know what makes money, dude. Plus, they need to tide over Elder Scrolls fans because Elder Scrolls 6 is, like, their third priority in terms of big games right now.
Yeah.
So, like, there are apparently a lot of idiots who think that ESO is actually halting that, but, like, ESO is ZeniMax, that's not Bethesda. But, I'm kind of interested in the Bethesda VR stuff. They were doing some post-release pimping for Elder Scrolls Online's Morrowind expansion, which I've heard mostly good things about, except that the new meta is power attacks rather than just abilities.
The weird thing is that they didn't pimp it that much.
I think it was more of a, hey, for those of you who didn't know, we put out a Morrowind expansion.
Do you like Morrowind? Boom.
I mean, Morrowind is a great game.
Yeah.
Let's leave that for the last part of the Bethesda conference.
What are we leaving?
Creation Club.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing a Skyrim expansion for Elder Scrolls Legends, which, cool for people who play that.
Something that I liked about it, the showcase for the Dragonborn card was a female one, I'm pretty sure, based on the fact they had long hair, which was kind of cool.
Like,
I like female representation.
They never really even mention, like, Skyrim is the only game where the protagonist has a, quote, canonical representation.
Yeah, because you only ever see the male one. Like even in the...
You see a male Nord in iron armor.
Yeah. So that kind of gives me the impression that, like, oh, the Dragonborn must be male. And to this day, I've only played one male Dragonborn, and that's because I was trying to roleplay as Ezio. Which, by the way, you can fit his full title in the 360 name screen. Ezio Auditore de Firenze can be your actual name, and it will be on all the goddamn papers.
Wonderful. Yeah. Just what Ezio would want.
No, you want to assassinate me? Write down the full name. I will only accept it if it's my full name.
They showed off Skyrim Switch, which has amiibo support for Breath of the Wild items, so there is a vanilla version of the game with the Master Sword in it now. Something
Yeah.
people have probably been modding in since Morrowind.
Yeah.
um,
There's motion controls too, which I
they
guess.
actually look kind of fun. Like, I'm not a big motion controls suck person. I recognize that some games do them well, a lot of games do them not well. Like,
Mhm.
this is kind of looking forward a tiny bit in terms of franchise, but like, much as I dislike most of the Rabbids franchise, like the Raving Rabbids franchise, the first game actually had pretty good motion. Like, actually, all of them had pretty good motion controls. Even if I'm not a fan of most of the games themselves.
Right.
Like, I think the first game and the Go Home game were good. Like,
Yeah.
actually average or above good. But, anyway. Dishonored 2 Expand Alone.
Yeah, it's a completely standalone product, $30. It's not even Dishonored 2, it's just Dishonored. Kill the Outsider.
Huh.
Or Death of the Outsider.
So, Murder Whale God.
Yeah. Which, cool. I like how you have another choice of characters. I assume. Like, I assume you can either play as Billy or Dodd. Which, you know, I'm fine with playing as the sad murder dads.
I'm not a Dishonored fan. Like, I appreciate the games, but I've tried playing them and they just don't click for me. Well, the first game.
So, dude, at least for PS4, there's a demo of the second game, which lets you play a good chunk of it. Like, I spent an entire day playing this demo, where you can do either character as many times as you want, and you can transfer the progress to the full game. I really recommend you try that, just to try it out, because I didn't like the first game at all. The second game really, like, fixed a lot of my problems with it.
It wasn't even like I had problems. It was just, it never really clicked with me what I was playing because I was worrying too much about playing optimally in a game like that. Like, I don't want to miss anything, but sometimes it gets frustrating trying to explore this.
I still would recommend you try the second game.
I should just swallow my pride and play it normally.
Yeah.
Quake Champions has BJ from Wolfenstein, who can dual wield.
Alluding to something.
Evil Within 2, which for some reason I thought was published by Square Enix, but I guess it was Bethesda.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that I didn't realize Bethesda published. Like, I didn't know they did the first two, I guess, Wolfenstein games for modern consoles.
Well, they own id Software now, so...
Yeah. I didn't even know that it was id that did it. Keep in mind, I'm not really up to date on it.
Right, like, id basically did the Wolfenstein games, Doom, and Rage in the... Well, also, this is actually the second attempt to... Technically third attempt to reboot Wolfenstein, because the original was a weird, like, stealth maze game, like, top-down. Then there was 3D. Then there was one for the 360.
Really?
And then there's this one. But, yeah, I'm not a fan of horror games. Like, I'm trying to work myself up to play Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, my friend says I should at least play 4.
Yeah, like, Resi 4 is, like, the least horror of the actual horror games.
Hold on, I want to look something up. I mean, I've heard that it's at least a good way to get into the series.
Yeah, like, apparently the remake of the first one, remake, is really freaking good.
So
the
keep
one
in
of
mind
Zero.
that this game is the most accessible game too, because it's on GameCube, PlayStation 2, Microsoft, Windows, Wii, Zeebo, iOS, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Android, PS4, and Xbox One. So if you have any system since the GameCube, you can play this.
Not the original Xbox.
Yeah, not the original Xbox.
What the hell is a Zeebo?
I don't know. It is a 3G enabled entertainment and education center. It can connect to the internet, and it was targeted for markets in Brazil and Mexico.
Huh.
This looks like a bootleg.
But apparently it had a Capcom game on it.
Has a boomerang controller. What the fuck?
Alright, let's get back on track. Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. This was actually... So, do you remember the Quake trailer last year?
Yeah, I remember seeing, like, the little code thing for it.
Like, in the little DOS nod, like, there was new Colossus.exe. So, it was pretty obvious that was Wolfenstein 2.
Yeah.
While I guess the New Blood is 1.5. But, Old Blood, New Order, right?
Old, new, it's new, old, new. Or chronologically, old, new, new. Which kind of makes...
So the New Colossus has one mission where BJ is shooting Nazis from a wheelchair, which is awesome.
Fucking cool.
Like, BJ is the least... Like, compare him to Doom Guy, and he's not as overblown, but he's still a huge badass. Even in the new one.
And he's a fun protagonist, too.
Like he is a protagonist that has character. Like
at one point in Old Blood, you have to sneak into Castle Wolfenstein as German soldiers. And the general of the fort holds your passport, and he is like, "Oh, you're from Frankfurt. You're a Frankfurter." And BJ's German isn't that well. He's like, "Ach, as the Americans, ach, un hot dog." And they all just start laughing.
Like, I like how id knows how much personality to give their protagonists.
Oh, hell yeah.
The Doomslayer is anger incarnate.
He doesn't even know what sex is. He doesn't care. It's just as a primal need to kill.
All because those demons killed his pet rabbit.
Yeah. Poor Doom Guy. But he really is
so, like,
relatable.
This is a little off topic, but still about Doom. Do you know the ending to Doom 64?
No.
He decides to stay in hell to punish the demons for trying to invade 3 times. He is amazing. Like, Doom 64 is its own entry in the series. It's not just a port of 1 or 2.
Yeah. Oh, that's fucking cool.
Anyway, Creation Club.
Alright, so I watched Gopher's video on this. Did you?
No.
He gave a good synopsis of it. I'm gonna go to this from the perspective that this will make mods a lot more accessible. So I'm gonna take this. Alright, so my argument. I play on the PS4. If they can, and a problem with mods on the PS4 is that Sony won't allow them because they're not officially made by Bethesda, etc., 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 whatever. The thing with Creation Club is that people, like independent modders, other developers, I guess, and people like that, people that they approve, like you have to apply for this, can make their own mods and assumedly put them up to be bought using some kind of Bethesda bucks, which may be currency that you have to buy yourself or currency you earn through playing games or something like that. And it does seem like paid mods. But at the same time, as someone that plays on the PS4, if Bethesda says that they're going to be going through to check all these mods to make sure that they work, that they are functional with achievements, stuff like that, if they can make these official Bethesda mods that can be put on the PS4, I'm all for this.
Like, people are going, because it went so well on Steam. The way I see it is Bethesda is curating this. Um, like, it's not like, oh, I'm just going to slap in a Skyforged steel sword with a slightly different texture and a billion damage and charge $10 for it.
I'll put in another apple in the bannered mare.
Like, this is. I think that Bethesda's curation will help, and I don't think. I think it's going to be, like, separate projects from the mods that are on the mod thing.
Right.
What I'm curious about is how big are these allowed to be? Like, are we going to get, like, ports of Falscar or
Alright.
Helgen Reborn?
Do you know how mods work on PS4 and all that?
I do not.
It has, like, each mod takes up a certain amount of... Now, I've only used mods once, and it was unsuccessful, but whatever, hear me out. They have a certain amount of space and memory they take up, and there's a certain allotted amount of space that each system has for mods. So you can only have as many mods as the memory thing allows, which I can look that up right now.
Like, what I'm wondering is, does it go against that, and will they allow expansion-sized mods? Like, that would be really cool for console players to get to play through Falscar. Not Worm's Tooth. That modder went kind of weird.
Yeah, so the size limit for mods on PlayStation, according to this article that was a year ago, so they might have made it slightly bigger. For PlayStation, it was 900 megabytes.
What?
Yeah, and for Xbox One, it's 2 gigs.
Huh.
So.
Yeah. I'm not thinking this is the end of the world, like a lot of people are.
Oh yeah, there's always going to be free mods. They can't take your guns away from you.
I think we have to just wait and see, but I do think Bethesda's curation is a good step instead of the complete hands-off, laissez-faire free market that the Steam Workshop was for those
The invisible
2 days.
hand of supply and demand.
Don't get me started. That just takes me back to high school econ with the literal conspiracy theorist for a teacher.
Yeah.
So Devolver did show 2 games.
Looking at your notes. Presenter has a gun and she refuses to take her medication.
Ruiner, which is a top-down action game, it looks like you're teleporting around and taking enemies out that way, along with using some fairly over-the-top weapons. And Serious Sam's Bogus Detour, which is Serious Sam's Hammerwatch game.
I did enjoy Hammerwatch. Is it
Also,
like a style or...
Huh?
Like, is it like it in gameplay-wise, or just style?
Art style. I mean, it's Serious Sam, so it's going to be more of a shooter than a hack and slash, but
Alright.
it's still top-down, very nice-looking pixelated graphics.
Alright.
Also, I watched 30 minutes of, quote, the pre-show, which people were saying was supposed to be, was like trying to rip off Eric Andre's show. Like, it was almost uncomfortable, which is why I still thought I was watching the Devolver conference. But, like, they were talking about Hotline Miami while playing a Russian bootleg version that randomizes levels.
Oh my god.
Like, it was intentional and scripted, but...
Fucking insane.
Yeah. Like, it was, like, I watched it for 30 minutes thinking, is this still Devolver? Yeah. Alright, Ubisoft. The Rabbids crossover, this was the way my thoughts were going. The Rabbids crossover we neither wanted nor needed. Wait, why did they drag out Miyamoto for this? Apparently it's Mario Rabbids XCOM.
Yeah, like, the combat doesn't really interest me, the subject matter doesn't interest me, I'm not gonna get it. I'm gonna hope it does good. I hope all games do good.
Like, it's cutesy XCOM.
Which... it's a weird fucking sentence.
Mario XCOM is also a weird phrase to say that makes sense, but here we are.
This is a hand we've been dealt, we have to deal with this.
It actually looks kind of interesting, which is more than I can say I expected. Like, it doesn't look like a mediocre minigame collection, which is what I actually expected. Just like the other Mario crossover, with another franchise from a different company. I am really not surprised that Miyamoto is actually a fan of the Rabbids as characters, though.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
They showed Assassin's Creed Origins again, which was, I think, pretty much the same stuff. So story-wise, it's like how the assassins actually came together in ancient Egypt, which we kind of forgot to mention.
Yeah. See, the weird thing is, story-wise, the emblem for it has, like, the whole assassin symbol with an Egyptian eye in it. And then the first game just has the assassin symbol, so I'm always curious, like, so do each of them just take out the symbol and put their own in, and the people in Jerusalem and all that just kind of forgot? What the fuck is this?
I don't know how good the Assassin's Creed games are with continuity. Sean hates Unity because apparently the assassins are complete idiots in it.
Well, I haven't played Unity. If it's cheap enough, I might grab it. But...
yeah, I've heard it's actually, like, other than Sean's complaint, it's actually worth playing now.
Yeah, I like Syndicate. I fucking love Syndicate, actually, but that's partially because you could play as Evie, and she was drastically underutilized, but I still like playing a female assassin. And then never again.
But yeah, interested in Origins. Also, like, this is something I think I've mentioned the past couple of E3s, but I find it funny how people say they're a bit said before Syndicate, there are no female assassins. I mean, that really goes to show how many people played Liberation.
Which I watched, my friend, when I was up in Oregon, she played Liberation on the PS3, and it wasn't too bad a game. It had, like, a cool disguise mechanic.
Yeah, like, you could tell that it was a Vita game, like a Vita spin-off, but it was still fun.
Right.
The Crew 2, now with flight and motorboating. Not that kind of motorboating.
Thanks, Sean.
I still haven't even installed the first game, but hey, open world America, motorsports.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not a big racing person unless you give me an open world.
Which, in this day and age, it's not too hard.
Yeah. South Park 2, which we kind of saw the gameplay for last time.
And in Stick of Truth. It's
No, this one is... well, they're also doing, like, grid mechanics, so it's less... it's not exactly Stick of Truth.
Okay.
Transference, which is some kind of VR horror game where I guess the idea is you're looking into someone's memory? Like, I'm not a horror person, but VR just seems like the appropriate place for it.
Yeah, no, that does make sense.
Then there was Skull and Bones, which basically it's them looking at the reception of Black Flag and Rogue and going, okay, let's make this a multiplayer game, which actually looks interesting.
Yeah. Like PvP sea battles and stuff seems pretty cool.
I'm not sure if there's going to be like a single player campaign or anything. It seems like it would get repetitive since it is only the naval battles, though. Although they do have like different classes of ship you can control instead of just the Jackdaw, so
yeah,
that should vary it up. Just Dance 2018, which, have you seen their preview for it?
No.
It is gloriously weird.
I'll look it up so I have it queued for later.
South Park has a generic mobile game. Ubisoft has a version of those, like, Skylanders, Lego Dimensions.
Yeah.
I will give them credit. It actually looks more interesting than those because, like, you can swap parts on the ships because it's a sci-fi action game. So, like, you can swap parts like a Lego thing.
Yeah.
So that's actually pretty neat. Like, it's not my kind of thing because I see it as more of a cash grab than a passion project, usually. But, I mean, if you enjoy that kind of game, Steep has an Olympic DLC. I'm kind of surprised it did well enough that they made DLC for it.
Yeah.
Like, nobody talked about it. That's not me saying, like, oh, it looked bad. It's just not my thing, but nobody talked about it.
Exactly.
Far Cry 5.
Oh my god, I can't fucking wait. I haven't played a Far Cry game since 3, and they had me sold once it said that I'd be killing off these crazy American cultists with character customization.
You didn't even play Blood Dragon yourself?
No, that costs money.
Huh.
I know, I'll play Trials of the Blood Dragon.
It looks like instead of the Guns for Hire generics that you could just summon in 4, I'll call in, but basically summoning, they have, like, party members?
Like the dog!
No, apparently, according to Eurogamer, the dog can die.
Oh.
I'm not sure if that's just a case of, okay, if someone besides you dies, it's still a game over, or what? There are more melee weapons than just a machete this time. Like, in the trailer, they had a baseball bat, and in Eurogamer's footage, they were just punching someone down.
Get fucked.
But, yeah. I have to say, I really like Ubisoft stuff. Oh, yeah, there was also a little game called Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Oh, yeah. Was that game good? Was the first game good?
It was beloved.
Yeah,
for 14 years, it has been a joke to ask Michael Ansel in every interview, so, when's Beyond Good and Evil 2?
I never heard of this game.
And also, having not played the first game, but only seen the first game was rated T. That was a lot more vulgar than I expected Beyond Good and Evil 2 to be. Like, I was like, wait, is this BGE2? Nah, they're being way too... Oh,
it is. Shit.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are super excited for that. I have the HD version downloaded on my PS3 now, so I just need to play through that of the first game. But yeah, I have a lot of catching up to do on franchises this E3. So then we go to Sony.
Yeah.
So, guess what game is being ported to PS4 and Vita, guys? Undertale is coming to PS4 and Vita.
Forgot that.
And with perfect timing, Tyler sent me a screenshot of an FAQ about the PlayStation version. Question, with Toby. Question, did you include trophies? I love trophies. Answer, I'm sorry. Question, it didn't include trophies? Answer, no, I did. That's why I'm apologizing.
Oh, God.
You know what some of those trophies are gonna be.
I can't wait to Platinum Undertale.
You terrible person.
I can't wait to Platinum Undertale.
I'm actually looking forward to an excuse to play through the game again. Twice. Don't judge me.
I'm not judging you.
But yeah, that was like a bombshell dropped right before the conference. Fangamer is actually doing a collector's edition for the PS4 version, which includes a, like, you know those old, like, kids' storybooks with, like, the gold-looking binding, they were super thin, cardboard covers. They're doing that for, I would assume, the story, like the synopsis. And a music box locket that, in the trailer, it was playing, I forget if it was, wait, it was his theme, because Memory is just a clip of that. But apparently the pins didn't match the song. So, we'll have to see.
Dun dun dun.
I'm kind of, like, this is just me desperate to have more content, but I'm kind of wondering if anything is going to be added.
Probably not.
And to stay really vague, I kind of wonder how things are going to linger on uninstallation.
Yeah, that's one thing I am worried about. Not worried, but I am curious.
Like, I don't think games are really allowed to have, you know, secret files. But, we'll see.
When's that being released? Do we know?
I don't know. I don't know if there was a date. You should check. Because I have the notes up and I don't want to black out the screen. So Sony has Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, which seems to... Sean was saying it was like Nathan's daughter or something. So, like, when I see that kind of game and a female protagonist, I instantly think Tomb Raider. Like, oh, did they do a third Tomb Raider reboot game? But no. Like, it wasn't. Also, I think that at first they had the audio guy from the Sonic stream last year.
Yeah.
At least there wasn't buzzing.
Yeah. Oh god.
Horizon Zero Dawn is having what appeared to be an expansion, but it could be a standalone. Seeming to be like more in the north.
Yeah. Frozen Wilds. I've not played Horizon Zero Dawn yet. I watched my friend Kat play some of it. Looks really fun.
Yeah, like, I've heard great things about it. Like,
yeah.
I know, like, TapTap, the guy who runs the Kirby Facts and Xbone Twitter, he is normally not a fan of, like, AAA open world stuff, but he loved Horizon.
Yeah.
And he's normally more of, like, a niche indie game guy.
Niche.
Niche. People say it either way.
People are wrong either way.
The game that I have titled Ride to Hell Resurrection, Days Gone, the biker game with the heavily sadistic protagonist.
Yeah.
I knew I would be passing when I saw the close-up on the guy he was strangling. Like, yeah, there are some things that I'm just not comfortable with. I'm going to save my discussion on Monster Hunter World for the end of Sony.
Okay.
Because I have some thoughts. Shadow of the Colossus seems to have a full-on remake now, not just the HD port.
Which, fair enough, I'm excited. I've never played it before.
I'm kind of wondering if the Colossi that were cut from the original game are going to be in it, or if they're going to stick to the 13.
They might add more.
Also, I really hope that they fix the stamina bug from the PS3 version.
Keep in mind if it's a complete, remake or whatever.
Well, the reason I say that is, in the PS3 version, I think because it was running at 60 frames, some games that were on consoles that, were limited to 30 had certain functions stuck with the frame rate.
Yeah.
So, you lost stamina a lot faster in the PS3 version. I will say, I do think that Ico was more in need of a remake, just because even the PS3 version was super clunky to try and play. But Bear Taffy had the best yelling reaction to Shadow of the Colossus.
Really?
Did I link you that one, or did I only link that to Tyler?
You probably only linked that to Tyler, but then again, I don't check every link I get.
I will send it. It's a Twitch clip from when that group was restreaming E3.
Got it.
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
The aesthetic of that game is weird.
I think it's mostly weird because I feel like they probably made the models without realizing, oh, there's going to be a campaign where we're closing up on these.
Yeah. Shit, put them in anyways.
I will say, I appreciate that they're using the good Dante design still. Instead of, DMC Dante.
Yeah.
I think that Capcom has realized, okay, we need to just stop acknowledging this exists after we port it to PS4. Gotta make the last few bucks off of it somehow.
Yeah. Milk it until it's dry.
That's the Capcom way. Just look at Street Fighter.
Oh god. Ultra Street Fighter 2, but now with Violent Ken.
Call of Duty World War II. Storming Normandy for the billionth time.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it'd be nice to do it with, these cool new graphics and all that, but at the same time, we've done this so many times.
I mean, in fairness, it's actually been a while since we've had, a AAA World War II shooter. I just hope that it doesn't become the standard again.
Oh, God.
I enjoy the near future and far future stuff more.
Yeah.
And I Battlefield 1 even looks kind of cool because it's different battlefields.
Oh, yeah. I did enjoy what I played, except the fucking planes section. Fuck planes. Fuck bees.
Is it hip?
It's hip to fuck bees.
Skyrim VR, which we mentioned.
Buy Skyrim. Hold on, I found a post.
Is it By My Silence?
No. Hold on. It's worth it. E3 2017, everyone says fuck. E3 2018, everyone says fuck twice. E3 2019, Todd Howard walks on stage and assless chaps. He turns around for the audience to see. On one cheek, sky. On the other, rim.
I find it weird that they've chosen this year to loosen up with language.
Yeah.
Like, the year that E3 is open to the public.
Fuck it.
Like, I don't dislike it or really feel either way. But, let's see. Star Child, which I think that was the platformer one?
I think?
Yeah, because Moss was the mouse one.
Right.
Like, I'm curious how a VR platformer works.
I imagine it's disorientating.
The Inpatient, which is apparently a 60-year prequel to Until Dawn, which wasn't Until Dawn basically Telltale does slasher films?
It was good. Yeah.
Monster of the Deep, also known as Final Fantasy 15. A Final Fantasy 15 fishing spin-off for VR.
It's Sega Pro Bass Fishing, man. Come on, don't you fucking get it?
Doesn't Noctis, like, have an unhealthy obsession with fishing?
It's very unhealthy.
Like, the way my friend described it was, when someone mentions fishing, he perks up like a dog who heard the word treat.
Basically. And you can fish all fucking day if you want, and your entire team just stands there commenting on it. Like, oh man, dude, you need to bring the line in. Or, oh, it's gonna break, you should probably replace that line. I can just imagine Noctis just, like, ignoring them.
Like, I'm waiting for the PC version of 15, plus I still need to catch up on most of the series before I really feel like I should bother with 15, because it interests me the least out of the numbered games. Like, it still looks fun. It's just, I'd rather play the others first.
Right.
Have the others under my belt. Bravo Team, which is a modern military shooter in VR, which we kind of knew this was coming. They were just the first ones. I just remembered there was a modern military shooter that tried to popularize the move. MAG.
Yeah.
Like, I remember hearing MAG was actually not bad either. Like, not amazing, but... Then we have Dad of War.
Dad of War.
Which I'm still trying to tell if they're going for the sequel angle or reboot.
I think probably sequel.
Like, they mentioned that he's a stranger in the Norselands. Which kind of makes me think, wait, is this after he murdered the Greek pantheon?
Probably. I don't know. I never really got into this series, but it seems like it's a fair enough time to try and do something more with it.
Like, Sean was mentioning how Kratos is one of Sony's few mascots left.
Yeah.
Because Spyro and Crash were on other systems in the PS2 generation, even though people try to forget that.
Yeah.
Klonoa was on the GBA and Wii, and he never really counted anyway. So that leaves, like, Sackboy, the cat that Sony of Japan uses, Kratos.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're decent action games. They're not, like... Funnily enough, I prefer God of War clones to the actual God of War games because... just... I don't like playing as Kratos. He is an irredeemable piece of crap. More so than most Greek heroes.
Oh. I'm looking up one of the next games, and I realize that I've looked up David Cage before. I don't remember when I Googled him. I don't remember it.
Detroit Become Human. A lot of people are skeptical about this one because of David Cage.
Which, to be fair, his last project was Beyond Two Souls.
But, like, he did, Omicron the Nomad Soul, which is generally liked, and also has David Bowie music in it.
Yeah.
Fahrenheit.
He's a composer for Time Cop. I don't know what that is.
Fahrenheit, which was generally well received, even if it did go bonkers in the third act. Heavy Rain, which people a lot of people know that it's poorly written, but they don't care because it's still enjoyable.
Yeah.
And Beyond Two Souls. Having one out of 4 relatively major for their time games be not great.
But even then, Beyond Two Souls still won France's highest honor. And it was the first game to do so.
Huh. I think people just don't know what to I think a lot of the backlash is from people who don't know what to expect from a David Cage game.
So it might not be because of Beyond Two Souls itself, but he did get it, right after it came out.
Yeah. And I'm kind of a sucker for the AI versus humanity moral questions about, okay, if it's an AI, is it slavery or normal ownership of a machine, that sort of thing. Basically what the recent Deus Ex games have been.
Yeah. No, I'd be down.
And Sean was kind of thinking, okay, is it going to actually be gray morality with violence versus pacifism, or is it going to be pacifism is the best route always? Which, from what little I know, I think Cage is actually decent at gray morality stuff at times. So, it's a different kind of game that I'm used to looking forward to, but
yeah,
it seems really interesting. Still no release date on that, though. They showed some Destiny 2 stuff with a new story trailer. Talked about some strikes that are going to be PS4 exclusive. I'm not sure if strikes are open world events or more like raids.
Probably raids. I don't know. I never got too far in Destiny.
Insomniac Spider-Man, or Spider-Arkham.
Spider-Arkham.
Yuri freaking Lowenthal is Spider-Man.
Is this the GIF I think it is? I'm looking at a Kotaku article about each E3, and there's a QTE that makes me think of this, and it's the fucking QTE where there's a Z-bomb and you gotta hit the button and Spider-Man just falls on his fucking face and the building explodes.
Oh, is that the one that from the Spider-Man 3 game that people were posting? No. So yeah, Insomniac is doing Spider-Arkham. It looks fun. Something I noticed about Sony was all the trailers seemed really clippy, like they were missing bits of frames. That could have just been the Twitch stream, though.
It might have been, but I don't know. I'm looking forward to this one. I haven't played the other good Spider-Man game, Spider-Man 2, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I never played it, nor have I played that typing game that Critical showed off. So I'm looking forward to it. looks good.
Monster Hunter World.
Yeah.
Huh.
In fact, I think I might just leave you to this one because I didn't like Monster Hunter.
I have very mixed feelings on this one.
Feelings.
Like, it could have just been because it was a trailer, of course, but some things just kind of put me off. Like, literal drop-in co-op, which Monster Hunter has always been form a lobby, get people to join, then go on the mission.
Which seems like it makes sense for the system.
And, like, just in general, the Monster Hunter setting, you're going to the guild, grouping up, and heading out. Like, it's weird that I'm kind of being a purist about this when 4 was the first game I put more than 5 hours into.
Yeah.
But, like, it doesn't mean I wasn't aware of some of the systems in place in earlier games. The Greatsword looked way too fluid for a Monster Hunter Greatsword.
Not heavy enough?
Weapons have always had very specific movesets that, like, heavy weapons were very slow and heavy. And
Right.
It took a while to get ready for the next swing. And there's actually a mechanic in place where the game actually slows down slightly if you hit an enemy with enough excess damage.
Mm.
Like, to kind of keep your DPS from going way too high. And also, what kind of Monster Hunter player actually runs away except in the mission where it's like, oh, this is going to be the boss of the story, run away for now mission.
Right.
Also, besides the Rathalos, the other monsters looked kind of generic. Like, they didn't look like super colorful or interesting like a lot of the Monster Hunter monsters are. It just looked dinosaurs. Dinosaurs.
You got the dinosaurs.
Like, even the Jaggies, they're blue and pink. Like, they at least look different from what we assume real-world dinosaurs looked like.
Right.
And then there's the freaking Zinogre. But, apparently it's rumored to be done by a Western Capcom team, so that might explain it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You give it an open mind.
Like, I'm probably not going to forgive the drop-in co-op, though.
Yeah, I know how you are.
Like, some things you don't change, okay? Alright, so Nintendo.
Which I believe stole the fucking show.
So, I actually woke up, like, towards the end of the stream, so I went to my YouTube page, and I saw Metroid Prime 4. And I had to ask, wait, did I actually wake up?
Yeah, it was exciting. In fact, I'm going to get my notes up on this, because this is the only one I actually took notes on.
Like, so then I went back to the start. Xenoblade 2, the equivalent of the Monado in this game, has also a person form.
You know, it's Skyward Blade.
Also, for people who know how the story of Xenoblade went, gee, I wonder who the architect is. Like, who do we know that created a new world? Ah, well.
My notes on this game are airships and stuff, Teddy Minato, boob physics, Vert is in it. There was a point in time where I thought there would only be like 2 party members, you and the sword, but then at the end it shows a whole bunch of other party members.
Honestly, when it was first revealed, I was confused because I thought it was a Tales of game because of the radically different art style. Like, I was like, oh, they're coming back to Nintendo with Tales of.
Yeah.
Oh!
Oh. Tales of Xenoblade. Tales of Blade.
Tales of Xenilia? No, they already have Exilia for X.
Yeah, and then you're just screwing over mothers of 3 teen boys in December.
What?
I want that Tales game of the new one. Yeah. Next up was...
Well, I also want to mention, funny, I don't remember Xenoblade being Etrian Odyssey, because Yggdrasil being the main goal. Alright. Kirby Switch.
Or just Kirby.
Which is looking like another Return to Dreamland style game.
I saw some new power-ups in there I really liked. There was Cleaning Kirby, Water Kirby.
They brought the broom ability back.
Well, it's cleaning now. You can recruit monsters, I think, with like the power of love, and I guess multiplayers can possess them, I guess.
Oh, so it's like Superstar.
Yeah, and you can fuse powers together, like they used water bombs at one point, flaming sword.
Oh, so they're combining the best of all the games.
Yeah, and
Kirby
then they bring
64,
in Robopod.
Superstar, the Return to Dreamland engine games that they've been milking so much.
But I think you could only fuse the abilities if you have like a party member with that ability. So it's like they're lending you their power to do the ability. And it's coming out 2018.
Game Freak is making a, quote, core Pokemon RPG on the Switch.
Which I believe core to mean, like, DS game. Like Black and White, Sun and Moon.
See, the thing is, I'm kind of wondering if they count Colosseum and Gale of Darkness as core RPGs since they're still catchers. And the Switch
But they still seem like a spin-off. Where they had their own gimmicks to them. Where, like, the gimmick was, you don't catch wild Pokemon, you catch Shadow Pokemon, and all the battles are double battles. And there's no gyms or Elite Four. You just fight the enemy team.
I'm interested either way. Like,
oh, hell yeah.
I would love a third Ore game. Finally have Wes be a villain somehow.
What if fucking it's Gen 5 on Switch?
Oh my god.
I know, right? It'd work with Underground and shit.
Wait, 4 or 5?
4.
4, right.
I
need Diamond and Pearl remakes.
Need it. Jay Witz was like, oh, I played Platinum the other day and it didn't feel that much dated at all. And I'm like, yeah, but we could be doing a lot better.
Like, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald probably didn't feel too dated, but they did Omega Ruby, Alpha, Sapphire anyway.
Yeah, that turned out fucking fantastic.
I'm not sure if that's sarcasm, though.
No, I loved it.
Okay, because I've actually heard mixed things on it.
It's Ruby and Sapphire with another story, Mega Evolution, 3D graphics.
Did they keep
both bikes?
Did they make the game as ridiculously easy as X and Y?
You can still use the experience share. It's the same experience share as X and Y and Sun and Moon.
Oh god.
But it's still a bit difficult.
I hate that the difficulty option is the EXP share. That's basically what it is in X and Y.
And Oras and Sun and Moon.
Like, it's either cakewalk with it on or have fun grinding with it off.
Which is like why I always do it. I'm pretty sure Jaywitz had 2 teams to compensate for that. Or I only turned it on when I was doing level grinding.
Right. Alright. Metroid Prime 4, I can't believe Samus is fucking alive.
Uh, and then there was Yarn, Yoshi, and Cardboard 3D World.
Oh, I honestly didn't realize that was a Yarn Yoshi game. It looked more
It,
like a Yoshi Story 2.
I don't know if it was a Yarn Yoshi exactly, but the texture on Yoshi made me think it was Yarn. He didn't
Like,
use any Yarn powers at all.
my thought goes to Yoshi's Story 2 because of the texture, the
Mm.
cardboard look, and the fact
Cardboard.
that they're doing the pseudo 3D thing, where like it's still a linear path, but you're still going into the background and foreground.
Yeah, I like it. The aesthetic looks
And
cute.
also the throwing thing looked more like it was manual aiming, like Yoshi's Story,
Right. Fair enough.
which
I,
I would actually love for them to do it like that same progression style as well, where you find the hearts to unlock different like the different levels for each chapter.
right. Like, I've never bought a Yoshi game before, so I doubt this will be one that I do get. But at the same time, it does look kind of good.
Fire Emblem Warriors, which my response to was yawn.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I do have some problems. I think that's going to be my mantra for E3. I like it, but I do have some problems. I'll basically chief this discussion. We've only seen... So they confirmed in this trailer that Ryoma, Xander, and Corrin of Fates are in it, which is cool, especially because it's female Corrin as the default one, which never happens, ever. Like, even with the amiibo, she's referred to as, like, P2 Corrin. So that's exciting that she's the default one. I'm just worried that we've only seen sword users. Ryoma uses an electrified samurai blade, sure. Xander uses a sword of darkness, and he's on mounted horseback. Corrin has the chainsaw blade and can use her dragon powers, but they didn't show that off. Marth and Crom wield the same exact weapon, literally. And then the twins that they showed off in the trailer are also sword users, I believe. So we've had entirely swords, and Tiki is pretty much confirmed. She's one of the Manichetes, like now is. But they didn't show her off. They only showed off an amiibo.
Score 1 for Dragon Quest Heroes for weapon variety, at least.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that... Now, keep in mind, I'm pretty sure the only games that are getting representation in this are Shadow Dragon, Fates, and Awakening, which I'm fine with. A lot of people aren't, because they're like, yeah, what about the old games? It's like, they'll probably be DLC. Like, they're probably doing this because they're the most recognizable at this point, and can easily get people in with it.
Yeah. Like,
And then attract more people in later with the promise of DLC, like, hey, here's Path of Radiance DLC. You can play as Ike.
kind of like how in Hyrule Warriors it was, what, Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time...
And Skyward Sword.
Yeah. Like, because Twilight Princess is basically Ocarina of Time 2,
Yeah.
and Skyward Sword was the most recent game. And Ocarina of Time because everyone jerks over it being the best one. It's not, that's Twilight Princess.
So with Hyrule Warriors, or Fire Emblem Warriors, I do have some worries about it. I'm worried that the roster will be a bit small. But at the same time, they're probably going to release a lot of... They are going to release a lot of characters. I'm just worried that we haven't seen anything for bow users, mounted units like the Griffins, or Wyvern Riders. We haven't seen mages. We haven't seen anyone with a spear.
I mean, they usually have, like, in the Dynasty Warriors games, most characters are sword users. It's the other ones that are, like, the standouts. And there are usually, like, in these spin-off games, there are usually, like, 15 to 20 characters in the base game.
Right.
So they're just showing off the characters that are extremely popular besides... I'm kind of surprised they didn't go for Camilla or Tarja.
Dude, I'm really worried Camilla won't get in. But at the same time, her class is fairly unique, because she can use axes and spells.
Like, I feel like they could work that together, because like, I'm pretty sure the main characters of like the Dragon Quest hero games are the hero class, which are the all-around magic and swords.
Right. So, all in all, I'm looking forward to it. I wish they'd give us more information on it, but at the same time, it's
When
coming
does
out in
this-
fall.
Oh,
Did I predict your question?
yeah.
Hell yeah. It's coming out in fall, so we're pretty much going to get information within the next couple months. Which, to be fair, we've been waiting for... Wait, the information on this basically came out in, like, February, right?
I think it was actually...
March?
Wasn't it around the time that Fates came out? Like,
No, Fates came out last year.
like I think they did like, oh, also let's tease a Koei Temco Fire Emblem project while talking about Fates.
No, I think they did something in December saying that, hey, Fire Emblem Warriors, Crumb's in it. And then they had the direct in January that's like, hey, mobile game and Echoes. And guess what? Crumb's in it.
I think that's what I was thinking of then.
Yeah. But that's all I have to say about it.
I still want to see a Disgaea Warriors.
That would be cool.
Like, that, like, the tone of that game is perfect for a Muso game.
Oh, yeah. I do have some hopes. I have, like, my dream roster, which I may put up on Tumblr, which, whatever. But otherwise, I'm looking forward to it. They have a lot of room for things they could do, but we'll see if they actually do it.
I'm kind of curious, like, what the gimmick of this one is going to be, because every spin-off Warriors game has a gimmick. Hyrule Warriors had the items and bosses. Dragon Quest Warriors still had bosses, but its gimmick was the monster medals that were basically tower defense towers.
Right.
Next up, they talked about the Breath of the Wild DLC, Phantom Armor, Tingle Outfit, Korok and Majora's Mask.
Midna's helmet.
I really like that they did the Phantom Armor, though.
Yeah, the Phantom armor is, like, really underrepresented. Except in...
Underrepresented.
Shut up. I'm a writer, damn it.
Clearly. Like, honestly, I think the DS games are kind of criminally underlooked. Like, having to go through the Palace of the Ocean King every time in Phantom Hourglass was annoying, but you did unlock new shortcuts every time you got an item anyway.
Yeah. Like, and then it even, I'm pretty sure, well, you can use the Phantom Hourglass to time yourself. And I always found that to be pretty fun. Like, I played the game the entirety of my 5th grade, and I would just try, like, speedrunning the Ocean Temple. And that was fucking fun as hell.
And it also trained you for Skyward Sword to do the single stroke Triforce.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I knew how to do it.
Yeah, I had to look that one up as a kid because I don't do well with puzzles like that.
Yeah.
Um,
The Trial of the Sword looks really cool. Like, I called it, Breath of the Wild 3, Link Eater. You go in with no armor. I assume no armor, no weapons, and you have to forge everything yourself on the battlefield.
I think I might have missed that part. The Master Hard mode looks really interesting because instead of just making things hit you even freaking harder,
Oh yeah, fuck.
they're actually altering and giving new encounters. Like,
Flying fortresses.
yeah, that is freaking cool. Also, I love the fact that they used Octoroks.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the Octoroks in-game are used for. You can attach their balloon onto things and make them float. You can cheese so many of the shrines by doing that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a little-known fact.
Breath of the Wild is so good.
It is.
They're doing Amiibo of the Champions.
Fucking Urbosa, man. Oh. Love her. My note here is, I want Urbosa, step on me, heart. So, that's how I'm feeling about it.
Okay.
Apparently, the entire, second DLC has something to do with the champions, which is nice considering they have very little development in-game.
I mean,
Like,
you
you get their,
basically learn about their relationship to Link.
you learn about the relationship to Link, quite literally in one case, and you learn a bit more about like their personality through stories you're told, but otherwise you don't know anything about him. Like the Ruto champion is Falco. Quite literally, he's Falco.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And that's why the entire time I was doing that fucking temple, I was doing shitty Star Fox impressions. Hey Falco, where are you going?
The only Ruto I know anything about is the one that made me go, oh, Hatoful boyfriend was a terrible influence on Luca Jin.
Shit.
Which I think is a great reaction to that. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
XCOM Rabid Unknown is August 29th, which is the same day as the XCOM 2 expansion.
Dun dun dun.
Which I think is a wonderful timing. I think that was intentional on Ubisoft's part. Like, that just seems like the kind of thing they would do.
Yeah.
Rocket League is coming to Switch.
Which looks fun. It looked fun before. I just never cared for it. It looks like a unique game, certainly.
Like, it looks like a sports game for people who don't like sports games, because it's soccer. Soccars.
Dakar.
Mario Odyssey gameplay. Oh god, why can Mario possess things and creatures?
Yeah.
I watched a bit of the Wooded Kingdom gameplay. Oh my god. Like, it feels like they took... This is going to sound weird, but they took some of the design philosophy behind Breath of the Wild and applied it.
I mean, that doesn't entirely...
I mean, they're completely different games, but, like, just the attention to detail, the environments are freaking gorgeous.
Yeah.
I don't know why Mario has the ukulele role. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Apparently there are, like, way more moons than you need to finish the game, which is good.
Right.
Also, each level has local currency for, like, unlocks in their shop, which is neat. Like, things like an extra point of health.
Yeah. I mean, it actually gives you things to spend money on, which...
Also, gold coins are actually money instead of collect 100 in a stage, which... alright.
But then you actually have to collect 100 coins. It's like the purple coins you need to collect.
Yeah. Which, honestly, I kind of like that differentiation. Like, they're both currencies, but one is a limited thing.
Yeah. Like, you can definitely find these. You can't, like, miss some coins, like, to lava or something, and now get screwed out of it.
Yeah. Also, it comes out in October. Like, end of October. So, a running theme I've noticed is games that come out this year.
They flat out mentioned that.
Like, all of E3, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there are a few 2018 games, but mostly it's been 2017. Yet another Metroid 2 remake.
Yeah, so I really like this. I'm currently in the middle of AM2R, so I'm not going to be playing any more of it, so I can play this.
AM2R is actually different enough that it's a completely different game.
Okay,
so you should still finish it, because it's a great game.
Okay, so I'll do that. But I like the additions it's making. I love how it looks, and how it has like a 2.5D thing.
Yeah, like, am I just completely losing you by mentioning people in Northern Lions streaming group?
Yeah, but you can keep doing it.
Oh. Well, like, Nick there was complaining, oh, I prefer sprites. We're like, dude, this game looks freaking gorgeous. This is a 3DS game.
Yeah, it's a 3DS game. Hold on, I'm gonna check something.
Like, it actually looks really good, and I like how they specifically mentioned, okay, we have a trailer you can download on the 3DS so you can see the 3D effect for yourself.
Which is a really nice touch, because otherwise people are like, 3D might be shitty. 3D looks like it's going to be great there.
Like, Metroid has always been very much about atmosphere. Shut up, Team Ninja. Like, atmospheric storytelling. Like, you're always it always seems like you're climbing through ruins of some ancient civilization. Even though, in the case of the Chozo, they were literally killed within Samus's lifetime. Like, I find it kind of funny how basically everything wrong with Samus's life is either the fault of the Galactic Federation or Ridley.
It keeps her enemies list very narrow.
But the thing is, she works for the Gal Fed.
Hey, we all hate our bosses.
Like, okay. Going off topic again, I know, but the Gal Fed are the most incompetent people ever. Hey, let's model our AI we use for literally everything after the Metroid Prime and Mother Brain. That's a great idea. Also, we're going to use this lava-like substance that damages people when they touch it to power up our bounty hunters. Oh, look, they've become corrupted. Samus, you have to kill your colleagues. That's basically the plot of Metroid Prime 3. It is so stupid.
Yeah.
Why does she work for these people? How well do they have to pay?
Well enough for her to get, like, a new ship every game.
No, the ship doesn't blow up. Only the planet.
Boy, just imagine, like, a civilized planet, and they just see Samus coming down, and they're like, oh no.
That's why everyone wants to kill her.
Get her out here.
I mean, technically it's not her fault that every final boss has a, ha, you killed me, but I'm still going to destroy everything button. But still. Yeah. You would think she would notice a trend.
Everywhere I go dies.
Including my second home planet. Actually, I forget if the colony her parents lived in was on Zebes or what. Anyway.
So, it has all the same stuff, more stuff too, like a little thing that makes, whatchamacall?
Like, there are new abilities that use a new resource bar, like, basically the magic armor from Zelda, basically the Phazon cannon from Prime 3.
Fuck your X-ray. Whatever. X-ray. What was it called? X-ray visor.
Yeah.
And it has amiibo support. I don't know what the amiibos do, but they did show off the escaping Metroid and the, as my notes put it, and I don't know why I wrote this, but classic Metroid.
Oh yeah, the Metroid amiibo, which is that one Metroid everyone knows from 2 and Super Metroid.
Yeah, and it's apparently squishy, which I wanted. They have me sold.
I have to say that the gameplay feature thing was actually more natural than usual.
Yeah, it sounded genuine.
Yeah.
As opposed to the party talk from Anthem.
To be fair, in the trailer stuff, it's always, like, unusually militaristic. Like, look at the Wildlands trailer from last year.
Alright, fair enough.
Like, at least with Wildlands, though, that one kind of made sense because it is a Tom Clancy game, which is usually very militaristic.
Right.
They were just in character. Speaking of remakes, the Superstar Saga HD thing was real.
Yeah, I'm surprised and glad because that was like one of the first RPGs I ever remember playing.
It was the first one I got to the final boss of,
Yeah,
and only got to.
you never beat Violetta?
No, specifically because of Balletta Soul. Or Cacletta Soul.
Oh yeah, Cacletta Soul is awful.
Like, I didn't have enough speed to use the Super Nut immediately.
Now, I'm gonna nut. Real question.
Shut up, Rix.
How broke are the mush beds still gonna be broken?
I hope so.
I really hope so.
Like, that seems like the kind of exploit they would keep in the game because it's so well known. Kind of like, I'm pretty sure that there is still the missing node glitch in Virtual Console Red and Blue.
Right. Oh, no, definitely. And if you try transferring it to bank, it's like, stop it. Wait.
I still say they should say screw it and make missing no a story element.
Yeah. Hell, that's what they did in PTU. Which I guess can be considered a story element when it's really just like there for the DMs to use, but whatever.
I mean...
And, go on.
And there's also Minion Quest mode, where you play a group of Goombas hell-bent on rescuing Bowser because he gets kidnapped in that game, funnily enough.
I have a feeling I know how it ends. Not well.
But it looks like more of a mini-game kind of thing than, like, anything.
Yeah.
But it's still a nice addition, especially since I doubt that it's going to have the original arcade Mario Bros. In it.
That seemed like a really weird choice on a 3DS game.
That would actually be kind of cool if they left that in, though.
Yeah. Like, oh, hey, now you got 3 games. Holy shit, Nintendo.
And also kind of like a acknowledgement of, hey, this is what we did on every single GBA game.
Tired of it yet?
I mean, I don't think I ever even got... Were there title screen stars on Mario Bros. Or just the main games?
Probably just the main games. I'm not entirely sure.
I remember Misei, when she was playing in Chugga's LP of Superstar Saga, got to like wave 30 or something ridiculous like that. But, yeah. Overall, it's kind of weird, but I think I'm the most positive person in our group about this E3.
I mean, keep in mind, I don't have the ability to play... Well, alright, so I'm...
Keep in mind that a lot of the Microsoft stuff is either timed exclusive or not actually exclusive.
But at the same time, not a lot of it, specifically from Microsoft, not a lot of it captured my attention because it happened so quick. I will say that it was a good E3. There was lots of stuff being shown off. I'm excited for at least one game per conference. But I just think that Nintendo really just did it the best. Because they didn't showcase a lot of games, but they knew what people wanted, and they gave them that.
Yeah. Honestly, my biggest surprise was... Like, EA and Microsoft are usually, like, the low point of E3, but...
Right, reserved for Bethesda.
Yeah, and even Bethesda wasn't bad. They announced the Dishonored game, Evil Within 2, Wolfenstein 2.
Right.
It's just, they didn't have an RPG.
Right. But... all in all, I'd say this was a pretty good E3.
I didn't know about you, but I actually think Devolver won.
I'm still leaning Nintendo just because of the actual announcements and not the spectacle.
Oh, Devolver wasn't even a real press conference. It was a parody video. I will tell you that much.
Okay, fair enough.
I am shocked that the Rabbids game actually looks good.
Yeah.
Like, I was ready to write it off as just another but wow.
I mean, I am, but it looks good.
Alright, so that was E3 2017 in 2 hours.
God, really?
There was a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And a lot of side things, and me getting too angry at a card game.
Card games on disappointments.
Alright, so... yeah, overall I think this was a really good E3. It wasn't...
I wouldn't say it's the greatest, but I'd say it's really good.
It wasn't quite like new console reveal good, but for a mid-generation E3 it was pretty damn good.
But they did reveal a new console. Ken, don't you remember the teraflops of flops and flops of teras? And
that's not a new
floppies?
console, that's a new edition of a console.
It's floppies. The floppies, Ken. The floppy disk. It has floppy disk.